Okay, kia ora and welcome to our session where we're going to talk about re-engineering the world and how you can become part of the solution at the University of Waikato by becoming an engineer. So there's a lot of different reasons as to why you might want to become an engineer, but perhaps one of the most motivating factors is the fact that in the world today, we face some of the greatest challenges that we ever have in the history of the world. Let's have a little look at some of the snapshots of what we face. Up the road at Huntly, we have our coal-fired power station, which has been there for maybe 40 years now. But today, we want to go to 100% renewable. So how do we do that? How do you contribute to that solution? Maybe you think that this is the answer, that we can put solar power everywhere. However, in order to replace Huntly with solar power, we need the size of Hamilton in land space. So how do we do this? Or perhaps you want to design a beautiful building. You want to be part of the construction or the design. But how do we make sure that this building doesn't turn into our next waste and landfill? How do we make sure that these amazing technologies such as the Tesla vehicle is built in a sustainable way so that we don't end up with industry just causing more pollution to the world? How do we adopt the concepts that we have that are out there? Smart cities. How do we get everything to integrate together? How do we get the systems that are built, the infrastructure, the civil infrastructures, the electrical, all of these different components to work together to have what we want to achieve in the future? Or maybe you're interested in how robotics can contribute to the solution in the future. Or perhaps materials and how novel ways of reformulating materials from sustainable sources in order to produce the things that we need. So the big question is, we are here today, but where are we going to be tomorrow, and how are you going to contribute? Professional engineering at the University of Waikato is all about making a difference. It's about how you can learn the basic skills, develop the professional methods and technical nous in order for you to become the future leaders of our industry. And so we can formulate this as a very simple equation that you plus our Bachelor of Engineering, plus our work placements, plus our diploma can make you into a future leader. So let's explore this a little bit further. What does it mean to be a professional engineer? What are the attributes of a professional engineer? Well, one is we like to see the big picture. We like to take a stand back and not just ask how to design something, but why are we designing it in the first place? We like to ask the tough questions. How is it that we're going to get from where we are today to a sustainable future? We think in a way that not just do we measure a problem, but we try to design out a problem. So we think in the way of design. We apply fundamental technical knowledge in order to understand our systems, understand our buildings, understand all the infrastructure that we have. We learn to work through budgets and to keep things within economic controls to ensure that we stay viable. We have a very strong practical ability so that we don't just sit at a desk in a computer all day designing, but we're out in factories, we're out on the roads, we're on the bridges, we're trying to make it a better place through our practical skills. We also are involved with managing people, making sure that the technicians or the scientists or the lawyers understand what is the engineering requirements for various projects. We work in very diverse teams. They can include engineers, they can include accountants, They can include marketing people, management, all of the different disciplines that you can study here at Waikato. The engineers are part of that. We have to learn to be very clear communicators. How do we take a solution that is technically sound and to deliver it into a disruptive, sustainable design in the future? We have to be creative and innovative, because doing the same things we have in the past will only lead to the same things that we have now in the future. At the University of Waikato, we have 4 pillars of engineering. We have the civil engineering, chemical, mechanical, and electrical engineerings. We also have 4 additional programs around software, environmental, mechatronics, and materials and process. These 8 programs cover all of the fundamental areas of engineering that we have today. What does our professional degrees look like? Well, as you traverse our website and try to understand all the different structures of our degrees, this is our engineering one. Essentially, we have a fairly common first year among the very different disciplines. So you learn to interact with students who are interested in different areas. And then we have common papers, which deal with big issues such as the environment, society, economics, and also what it means to be a professional. We also have about several design papers where we learn to apply all these fundamental knowledge that we learn in other papers and apply it to design in order to get better solutions. We also have connected into our degree 800 hours of work placement. This is where we go out into, we send our students out into the workplace, into companies such as Fonterra or OG Fiber Solutions or PFS and many other companies, where they can gain an experience of working with practicing professional engineers. In that 800 hours, you not only get to interact with other professional engineers, but you also see how management works, how other economists, accountants, and lawyers can play an important part in engineering businesses. So now you might wonder, how is it that you can enter into the Waikato program? There are 3 main entries. The first entry at the bottom of the screen is around meeting the criteria that we have on our website. And if you can also get merit and excellence endorsement, we highly recommend that you can enter into the engineering first year directly. If you're a student that perhaps has been highly affected by COVID, or perhaps you have some holes in your understanding of basic maths and physics, then in that case, you might want to enter our Jumpstart program in order for you to just have a little bit more time that you can learn the basics of maths and physics. The Jumpstart program runs in January and February before the engineering first year. If you're in the boat where you haven't quite met the entry requirements for the Bachelor of Engineering with Honours, perhaps the best pathway is for you to consider doing a certificate in university preparation, where you can focus on subjects that relate to engineering, such as maths, physics, design, science, and computing. We've already discussed a little bit about work placements, but one of the highlights from work placements that a lot of students get is the fact that after their work placement, they can translate that into a capstone project or eventually into a graduate position. And so this is just one of the many examples where our students have worked over the years at Robotics Plus over in Tauranga. At Robotics Plus, they are in the business of trying to automate the horticulture area, where you have automatic fruit picking or trying to just pick avocados or kiwi fruit from the trees in order to then supply that to our customers. You might ask the question, that, do you want to be an engineer or do you want to be a manager? Well, our answer is, why not be both? And we have the solution to this. Many engineers can also make great managers, but they need to have additional skills compared to just their technical nous. One of the areas they need to learn is things like leadership and also strategic thinking. And so how do we get this into our engineers? Well, we have a concurrent diploma in engineering professional practice where you can learn these basics of management skills. You can see here in a simple diagram that shows you the difference between what we would call a low-level manager and a top-level manager. A low-level manager is just focused on the technical skills, trying to put a straight line on a piece of paper, do a few design calculations. Whereas what we want to teach you here at Waikato is not just a straight line or a rote learning sort of calculation, but how do you see the big picture? How do you elevate your knowledge to go from a low-level management type of view to a high-level management type of view? How do you see the big picture? And this is where the diploma in engineering professional practice can help. So let me just give you a little bit of an insight to what our students get up to and how professional engineering looks at Waikato. In the first year, one of the very first activities you'll encounter is the boat race. In the boat race, we try to gather some rubbish and clean up our lake. And so our students build boats in their first year course, construct it, design it, and then go and test it on the waters. And they have a competition to see who can clean up the lake the best. In our second year design papers, we have a whole range of different activities. In our chemical engineering program, we have a chemical car where you have to design a car that is powered by a chemical reaction. In civil engineering, one of the challenges is to build a bridge and then to try and test the bridge with different weights. You can see here in our short video from our engineering design show last year, how the different teams had different structures to their bridge, different trusses, and different designs, and how they performed. In third year, we continue to progress and try to get more design solutions, such as the one here, where you've got a mechatronic solution trying to maneuver around and in different directions. In our mechanical engineering field, this is showing one of the incredible projects where students had to design a little contraption in order to go up a ramp, turn a corner, make a dump, and then come back down. Another one of our projects that we have here going on is around our close collaboration with Robotics Plus. And so one of the projects was around cucumber collecting and then sorting. You can see here one of the prototypes from our students where they were taking a cucumber, bringing it over to a conveyor belt, and then releasing that cucumber onto the conveyor belt in order to sort it. In your final year of the Bachelor of Engineering, you must do a range of capstone projects that relate to either research or design or both. These projects range from all the way from trying to deal with issues to do with design of factories, through to design of robotics, through to algorithms and software engineering. There is a whole range of different activities that we do, and many of the projects are connected with our local industry and trying to address some of the problems they see in their everyday activities. We also have a strong graduate program, which you can see here, one of our graduate design videos around trying to collect various fruit. In this case, it was kiwi fruit. You can see here the complexity of trying to grab a kiwi fruit with a robot, do the design of both the mechanics and also the software design in order to ensure that the kiwi fruit picker is very gentle, but at the same time very quick, and getting the kiwi fruit off the tree. So just to wrap up this session, if you want to know more, there are some additional engagements that you can come to. First of all, we have our engineering design show that is coming up in October, and schools and school kids are most welcome to join us. We'll be holding it here at the Gallagher Centre, and it will run across 3 days. Those 3 days, we'll have sessions from about 9:30 to 12:30 each day, in which you can come and experience a little taste of what we have to offer at Waikato. You can also visit our website, eng.waikato.ac.nz. Through that website, you can learn about all our different programs. You can learn about the degree structures and all the mechanics of how engineering at Waikato works. You can also find several reasons that set Waikato apart from other engineering schools in New Zealand. And lastly, in just a few weeks from now, we have our Launch Your Career in Engineering evenings, where you can come to the Waikato University and you can learn about and hear from some of our professors and also some of our students that are here and their experiences at Waikato. Thank you for listening, and hopefully we've been able to answer some of your questions, and have a wonderful day.